What's going on, Kane fans? Know it's been a minute, man. It's your boy Wise. I'm back. I had to come do a video, man. So pretty much, man, it's a lot of folks are they're wanting to oh shit, I'm just seeing some news on my phone in the group. That's crazy, but yeah. um, a lot of folks, they speculating on what's going on and stuff like that. It's done went, dark after, Blake James been fired or whatever. I mean, truth be told, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen for sure. But, I will just, give my opinion on what I would like to see. Um, I've heard a few things, some of the same stuff that y'all have heard. Um, I read a lot of the 247 message boards, not just Miami's, not just Oregon's, but a lot of them. Just in general, man. I mean, I know some folks that actually are, plugged in with the program and everything, but a lot of people that are even, within the program, if have been pretty much shut out to what's going on. But you know, um, I'm making this video now because I feel like the obvious is here, at least as far as, with the AD thing. Um, the job's gonna be filled. Everybody just need to chill out. And at this point, I honestly don't care who gets the job as long as it's not Gino Torretta. Um, like he has nothing in his background or in his resume that qualifies him to be an AD at all. Like I don't even know where Gino's name came from. Even just with football, like if we get an AD or whatever, like how they've been discussing somebody being over football, there's no way I would put Gino over football. Like it don't even make sense, like at all. So it's as long as it's not him, I'm pretty much cool with it. As long as the hire overall isn't lazy. Definitely need Highsmith back at UM in some capacity. I don't want him as the AD, but I would accept him as the AD because he has front office executive experience from being in the NFL. And he pretty much has about 7 or 8 years worth of front office experience, from just doing different stuff to being a second in charge of player personnel at the Browns. He obviously had the stint with Green Bay, and currently he's with Seattle. But I mean, if he was the AD hire, I would accept it over Gino for sure. I mean, he's 1,000 times more qualified. I don't even know, like I said, why they would, really be considering him. But definitely would like to see Highsmith over football. That's been what's been rumored. And a couple of folks that I know that we have information claim that the Highsmith shit is already done. Like no matter what happens AD wise, that's why I feel like he can't be the AD. I'm hearing that he's over football, period. And that whoever is the AD, like that's gonna have to work for them, right? And I know the report came out with Nunez, I think, saying that he backed out and all of that, whatever. But I mean, the one thing I would like to point out is Nunez apparently was one of the ADs that the Columbus connection actually liked. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there are, I mean, the bot at Miami is pretty much split. You got the old ass folks that push hella political agendas for Manny Diaz, the senior, and they don't really care about winning. They just want to, politics. And then you have the other side of the bot that has power that, is the quote unquote the Columbus connection. Like, rather if they went to Columbus or not, but that's pretty much how the board is split up for the people that are really quote unquote fighting for power. And supposedly the Columbus connection did have it, like, because I guess Nunez is their guy. I'm not really sure, but at the end of the day, man, the whole thing with the bot, or whatever don't really matter because I just like to stick to the facts. The bot didn't fire Blake James. Julio Frank fired Blake James. Julio Frank only fired Blake James after Kirk Herbstreit did what he did because the thing that y'all got to realize is this is more than about just football, right? So Julio Frank actually was not going to be retained by the University of Miami prior to COVID hitting. This was a known thing amongst folks within the university. Julio knew himself that he wasn't going to get an extension. They weren't going to fire him, but the contract was running out or whatever, and um, they weren't giving him an extension. But then COVID hit. They keep Frank because he's an expert in public health. So it just so happened that it worked out for him. And obviously it's been going on. So he ended up getting extended for an additional year. But that's where I'm going with this. But it's not like they were getting rid of him because of football or even because of basketball or baseball. It's because the program, the academia is way more important than sports to UM. And it has always been that way. You know, Miami lucked up and got good at football. That was never part of the plan. Academics has always been number one. And the School of Medicine, the law school, and the School of Business all have taken drastic drops in rankings from where they were from when Frank got there. Like, they're just not happy with it. So the big boosters that really pumped money into Miami was getting rid of Frank because of academics. They like, look, we should be number one, at least in Florida, in certain categories, or we should land on certain points on the list because that is part of the tradition. That is part of what makes the University of Miami, to be looked at with such prestige. So when academics start slipping, you got a problem. Like, you got a real problem. So he was getting canned off of academics. Now, when you bring into the sports situation, it makes it even worse. So what Julio does, smart man, to save face for himself, he goes and he fires Blake James. Why would he do that? Well, he's firing Blake James because with academics, you can't just flip those results around immediately like you can with sports, because the spots that they've fallen in different areas, it's going to take a little minute, to recover. It's going to take a few years for sure. So with sports, you can make splash hires and make people happy. And if the sports programs of football, basketball, baseball, like if that shit starts generating more national attention, and if it starts generating more money for Miami, then Julio Frank is safe. And he knows this. And if he makes a splash hire for AD, for the football coach, just changing up things with the other programs, he's going to buy himself 2 to 3 more years at the University of Miami. If he was on the brink of still being fired, for sure, he wouldn't be doing any of this. It wouldn't matter to him. But that's why he's doing it. And, I told y'all 3 years ago when Blake James decided to offer Manny the job without getting approval from anyone initially, that he tied himself to Manny Diaz. I told y'all that from the jump. I supported the hire initially because I thought that Manny would do what he did with the defense. I thought he would do it with the rest of the football team. So I thought he could come in and make the right hires and get the offense on track and have everything mesh as one. We didn't even need an elite offense to win in the ACC Coastal. A good offense and a good defense. You win the Coastal every year if you got good coaching. But, it just didn't manifest that way. So it is what it is. But I told y'all 3 years ago, you can go look at it, that he tied himself to Manny Diaz. And if Manny was not successful, then Blake was done. So when I first seen Blake publicly try to separate himself from Manny, I knew then he was about to get fired. There was no question in my mind, because there is nothing that would make an athletic director go on record as basically saying, yeah, my football team is ass, the coach isn't doing his job, and I don't know what his future holds. Like, why even put that on record. And Blake James was skipping around. He didn't want to interview with certain folks because they was going to ask him certain questions. Like, he knew what he was trying to do then because it had already started heating up on him. And he was trying to separate himself to make it to where him and Manny weren't one. Well, the cake been baked, dog. You did that 3 years ago. So, boom. Fast forward. Julio Frank fires Blake James. All right, cool. That's why I'm not listening to nothing with that comes out about the bot, this and that. They got folks reporting wild shit. Like who Brent McMurphy even then got into it with the whole Miami shit. He don't know what he talking about. The bot don't have nothing to do with the hire for AD at all. And it's a good thing that is being done that way. Now, so whoever is the AD is the AD, man. Just get over it, right? We're never gonna all be happy. Just bring me somebody that has done. Just bring me somebody that has done something at another program. So that's that with that or whatever. As far as his head coaching shit, so um, everybody's saying it's Mario a bust or whatever. I mean, that's cool, bro. I'm gonna just kick it to you like this. I want Mario. Mario is my number one, and I'll tell you why. So I'll tell you my list of three right now because Mark Stoops is now off the board with the extension at Kentucky. I have Mario, Eric Bieniemy, and Lane Kiffin. I apologize if I said Eric's last name wrong. Don't kill me. I hate when people mess up my last name as well. But those are my three guys in that order. Um, I do think Mario is the number one candidate to be here. And one of the main reasons, so I'm going to just go down the timeline. You can forget the fact that he played at Miami. Like, that is a plus that he won. Like, he was here for titles. The fact that he was here for titles or during two stints at UM. He was here from 98 to 2001, 99 to 01, and then he had the second stint from like 04 to 06. So he saw the Canes at an elite level or building up to an elite level and then being elite, and then he saw the Canes and they was tailing off. But that's neither here nor there. People can say whatever they want, but Mario's first chance to become a head coach was at FIU. Now, folks would be like, oh, FIU, they trash. They never did shit. I mean, that may be your opinion, but prior to Mario getting there, like, I don't even know if FIU had won like more than 3 games in a season or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, because you got to think about how young of a program FIU is, but at that time, when he was there for that 5 year stint, they had won more games than they had ever won. They had a winning season. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the first time in the history of FIU that their players were even getting any kind of looks at the league. So yeah, obviously, TY ended up being successful or whatever, but they had other players that got plenty of looks and opportunities to play in the NFL. That had never happened before Mario got there. But he took that program that was winning 2-3 games a year or whatever, and he ended up winning 23, 24, 25 games in that 4 year span he was there. And for me, that says something. He leaves FIU. Where does he go? Well, he actually ended up back here, but that's not on his coaching record because he was here and then something happened, so he had to leave. We ain't gonna get into that. If you know, you know. But Saban scooped him up. So Saban scooped bro up. He worked with Saban for from 2013 into 2016, and mind you, he was the associate head coach at Alabama. So think about that. He did other things, but if Saban had been out or couldn't make a game, if anything happens to Saban, Mario is the guy that's in charge. Now I bring this up because he was at Bama at the same time Lane Kiffin was at Bama. He was there from 13 to 16, I believe, and Lane Kiffin was there from Lane was there from 14 to 16. So they was there at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. But that's the thing though. And you know, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. But obviously the learning from Saban is there. So you take that and you say, okay, where are you going? So then he ends up at Oregon as the O line and the offensive coordinator for or at least co OC for Taggart. Taggart leaves. Obviously, he gets the head coaching job. Now, whether if you like him or not, he has built the culture at Oregon. I don't care if you like him. I don't care if you love him. We're just talking facts. He has built the culture at Oregon. The people that are in the Oregon administration love Mario Cristobal. They love him. They love what he's done for the program. And Miami needs a cultural reset. Before everything else, the hires and everything have to be right, but Miami needs a cultural reset. And everybody that is a Kane fan knows this shit, bro. This shit been going on for we've been looking at garbage for over 15 years now. We know it's needed. Bring a coach in here that is gonna bring the reset we need culturally. Dog, this shit has gotten so out of hand that it's crazy. You got players in interviews talking about Corey Flagg like, yeah, I ain't surprised at them penalties. We do it all the time in practice. Like, bro, what? Like, not even because he said it, but bro, it's so much shit that be going on, bro. Manny Diaz don't even be at practice like that. To me, that is mind blowing. Bro, don't even be at practice like that. The players don't. They love Manny, but they don't respect Manny how he's supposed to be respected. Manny is the you know when you go to your grandparents' house, the ones that let you do anything when you're young. That's who Manny is. He's that. He's the fun uncle. They like him because they can do whatever the fuck they want and still be good and still play. That's why they like Manny. It's not a respect thing. From if you seen, for example, is like the clip when Mario was talking to one of the Oregon players. Buddy did some dumb shit, got a 15-yard penalty. Mario is lighting him up and he's looking at him dead in his eyes the whole time. If that was Manny Diaz, he would just let him walk off. Oh, all right, don't do it again. Nah, that's not how you get down. And then I seen this fucking idiot on Twitter. It's like, yeah, y'all popping all this Mario discipline shit or whatever. But look where he at, because they pulled up penalty yards. I want to clear this up now. If you straight up are going to pull up penalty yards to determine how disciplined a team is or isn't, then you don't know football and you're a fucking idiot. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, discipline and penalty yards can have a direct correlation, but when you talk about lack of discipline, you're talking about constant false starts. You're talking about players coming off sides. You're talking about unsportsmanlike penalties. Looking at penalty yardage doesn't tell you any of that, bruh. If folks getting pass interferences and holding calls or illegal block calls, that's not necessarily a lack of discipline. Anybody that played the game knows that there are bang bang plays. There are bang bang plays all the time. But we ain't talking about that. What we see Miami do every game. Hella niggas jumping off sides. Hella motherfuckers false starting. We have so many instances where we're this close to getting a flag, knowing the refs don't like us, extra chirping from the players, pushing, all of this stuff. That is the lack of discipline. Because it happens sometimes, but it happens way too often at Miami. So for the dumbass that said that shit on Twitter, it's not just about total penalty yards. Because also on that list, Bama was even lower than Oregon. And I know for a fact that Nick Saban got them boys disciplined. They practice and they play for perfection. They don't get it, but there's a certain level of respect that they have for Saban, and them boys go out there and put it on the line. So I do want to clear that up. But we need the cultural reset, bro. These players been doing what the fuck they wanted to do for way too long. The shit is out of hand, and it's been getting even worse. So Mario is going to come in here and he's going to establish a certain culture. It is needed. It is needed. That is one of them. All right, let me just finish with Mario. He's an elite recruiter. Out of all of the head coaches that have become available, out of all of them, all of the moves, the Brian Kellys, the Lincoln Rileys, whoever's available, Mario is probably the third best. He's top five for sure. He's top five recruiting coach in the country. So if you want to go Saban, Jimbo, if you want to put Kirby in front of him as well, that's fine. So Saban, Jimbo, Kirby, there's somebody else I'm missing. Can't think of him right now, but it don't matter. He's top five. He's top five. He's better than every coach, recruiting wise, that has become available, for sure. No debating this, whatever. He is an elite recruiter. So recruiting isn't going to be an issue. Cool. All right. So we move past that. Most people's gripes with Mario are about who is he going to hire. So this is what I would like to see staff wise. If you bring Mario, give me so I'm gonna say this name first and then we'll get into it later. But there's a particular person that I think we should bring back home. Give me Joe Brady. Joe Brady is from Miami. Pembroke Pines, however you want to put it. Bruh's from here. He's only 32 years old. And I know y'all might be saying, oh, you wild. You like what you, but bring him back home. Like, and I want you to think about this. And I'm being realistic, right? So Joe Brady was in the NFL with the Saints. And then he decided to come over to LSU. We all know what he did at LSU with Joe Burrow and that offense. Then he went back to the league. Obviously, he's the offensive coordinator with the Carolina Panthers and everything. But with the way things have been going with the Panthers and maybe the success that he had in college, he does want to eventually be a head coach. He's only 32, and the Miami job could make a lot of sense for him. A lot of sense, especially with a new head coach hire, bruh. Go get Joe Brady. If you got to pay him $2.5 million, $3 million a year, fuck it. Go pay him. But he's from here. And I only bring that up because he might be enticed about coming back home. Bruh, he's 32. This motherfucker he was here playing high school football when Jacory and them boys won 30 plus at Northwestern. Like, he was here when there was still major big time recruits constantly popping out of Miami. Bruh, bring him home. So that would be my number one pick. You can go get him. You can pay him the bread you need to pay him. He's not an older guy that's from the area. Bro was here when you had some of the best and just crazy players coming out of here. Like, go get him. He's seen it all. He's seen all of this shit firsthand. He know what it looked like. He would be right. He would literally be in his backyard. Go get him. Now, if you can't get him, my next pick is Graham Harrell. Go get him. And it's crazy because I was on the Oregon board earlier and they said they seen online that, and this is in reference to Mario staying there, but that since Moorhead is gone, that Harrell is somebody that Mario might go after because he's trying to become more innovative. And I had Harrell on my list, but it's crazy that little smoke is out there because they basically saying that Mario would make some of his run concepts with the air raid shit that Harrell be doing. But if you go get Harrell, he can do that and he can be a great quarterback coach. At running back coach, go get me Cedar from Penn State. Cedar's from here. Cedar's been recruiting all over the country, but go get me Cedar. He's the reason why Penn State got some of those good South Florida players anyway. But he's also a great running back coach. You know what I'm saying? Then coach some of the best of them. So go get me Cedar. Wide receiver coach. Bring me Kevin Beard, bro. No debate, no nothing. Bring me Kevin Beard. And these names outside of the Joe Brady thing, it might be a reach, but you never know. You never know. But these other names are definitely attainable through connections that Mario already has or people that he has personal relationships with. So go get me Kevin Beard. Straight up. The receiver's gonna be fire. You bring Beard back. He honestly is the best receivers coach that we had at UM probably since the championship for sure. So as far as offensive line, you already know who that's gonna be. That would be his boy Mariball. You know what I'm saying? Alex Mariball. That's his O line coach right now. Tight end coach, I'm not fully sure. I just seen some information that because Fields was at Oregon before he came here, but I seen that apparently Mario and Fields ain't a mix or whatever. So I thought he would be staying. I thought they had a good relationship, and maybe not. So I honestly would try to go back and get Todd Hartley again. Like go pluck him from UGA and let's ride straight up. He's a great coach and he's a great recruiter. So I would try to go pluck him away and ride out. Honestly. Um, D line, go get me Kevin Patrick. I don't even know why Kevin Patrick isn't here now. Like it didn't make any sense. We've had a D line opening like what 3 times in the last 6 years, bro. Go get Kevin Patrick. He has a great resume. Just in general with some of the guys that he's helped into the league. He's a damn good coach. Go get me Kevin Patrick. Everything would be everything with that. As far as the linebackers coach, I'm gonna just stick with who Mario got. Mario linebacker coach at Oregon. I think he making 800K. Go ahead and pay that boy that extra bread to make that move to Miami. Cause I'm trying to think, what's bro name? Let me see. I forgot his name. Uh, yeah, Tim DeRuiter or whatever his name is. So you can go get him. Um, for DB coach, if T Rob isn't retained, I'm not really sure if the T Rob and Mario thing would mesh. But if he's not retained, that'll be tough. If T Rob's not retained, apparently Corey Raymond is not an option. He's not leaving LSU. So I would probably hire Ed Reed to coach safeties and maybe find a cornerbacks coach if they don't want to retain DVD. I know DVD hasn't really proven anything technically from a coaching perspective yet. This is his first year, but he definitely is great at recruiting. That's his strong suit. So I wouldn't have a problem with pairing him with Ed the same way they paired him with T Rob. If T Rob doesn't stay. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But I think for my DC I want Derek Mason. I think he's at Auburn right now currently. But that would be an amazing hire. He's a former head coach. He is a great DC that actually is willing to get with the times and try new schemes. He know how to scheme and everything. And he would be the perfect coach to coach special teams as well. Because typically you want your special teams coach to have a lot of experience, like a lot. You don't want your special teams coach to be somebody green. Like that's what I'm saying. Like so definitely with that, man. But I think if we do that and we hire the analysts and everything needed, I think we'll be good, man. Um, I would give Eric a shot mainly because he's been passed up for NFL jobs, but he knows what it looks like. He knows what a championship organization and team is supposed to look like. The same way Mario does. And the same way Lane does as well. I think out of the three, Lane, um, it's my third pick mainly because there's nothing that says culture about Lane. Lane is great for X's and O's because he is an elite OC. He's a good recruiter, but it's just We need the cultural reset and bringing a coach in that, like, nowhere that Lane has gone in his coaching career, and this is not a knock on him, but nowhere has anybody said anything about the culture that he's brought. And right now, that's the most important thing that Miami need. And we need to be able to lay a certain standard down. I don't care if the first year we're not that good, whatever, but year two, I expect to see certain results on the field. But whoever come in as coach, I mean, they really got it made because they got TVD at quarterback, and then Jake Garcia is the backup. So you have a beautiful situation at quarterback. And that's another thing, bro. Like, if you want to consider this a holdover year, we have enough talent on this team right now with no new additions, even with some of the attrition, to win the Coastal. Like, we have enough talent to win the Coastal with the right coaching. So yeah, I know it's gonna be a lot of people hitting the portal or whatever. We gonna do a lot in the portal, but um it makes sense, man. It makes sense. Now, I'm gonna just go ahead and say this because probably got another minute or so. But if the deal isn't done with Mario by Sunday, then they need to go ahead and hire Lane. So we'll see. The Oregon game is tomorrow. I'm hearing that if it get done, it's gonna be quick. Like, the Oregon game's over, and at the latest Saturday morning, a deal might be coming out. And knowing Mario, if he is gonna leave, he gonna tell his players to their face after the game if that is the case. So don't be surprised if you see a report that says, "Hey, Mario has announced that he's not coming back to Oregon or whatever," because he's not gonna do it via text or some bum ass meeting, some random shit. Like, he'll let his players know himself. From everything I've heard about the kind of guy he is, he'll just let them know face to face. So we'll know Sunday. By Sunday for sure. If it ain't done by Sunday, go get Lane and new era. Get Manny Diaz the fuck out of here. Pack him up. And I don't ever want to see Manny in no Miami shit ever. This the 26 head coach. We got to get it right for Sean T, man.